Welcome to another special episode of Compas F.C. Obviously, like we told you guys, we're going to be bringing you mini episodes of the episodes with whatever's going on in the world. Obviously, Thursday, Real Madrid Barcelona Clásico. It'll be one of three Clásicos in the month of March. Well,
Mm.
and then a little bit in April. There's one in April, but within the next month, there's going to be three Clásicos, which is obviously a treat for many footballers around the world. J.C. Cervantes, Eddie Rodriguez are with me again. JC, how are you doing?
Hey, it's still cold out here, man. It is freezing and tough game. First leg,
Yeah,
can't count anybody out just yet. Anything could happen in the next 90 minutes.
that's why they say when it's cold, you got to get a tag team partner. Eddie, how are you doing?
Mr.
Doing
Tag Team
well,
himself.
Thirsty Thursday, crack a
This
beer
guy,
open and let it ride.
Hey, there you
uh,
go.
Broncos
Well,
country.
obviously you mentioned it, JC. Really weird kind of game for Real Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona without Lewandowski, without Dembele, but that Dembele stuff is, I mean, he's kind of like Neymar. Usually around this time, Dembele's not with the squad. And I can't remember the midfielder's name right now. It escapes me. It's not Gabi. Gabi played. It's the
Pedri.
other one that Pedri. Yeah, their little wonder kid. Pedri, neither one of those three played. Obviously, in the around the 25th minute, there was a mistake from Camavinga. He tries to pass it, kind of a lazy pass to Militao. Militao's not able to get it. Kessie gets it. He runs it, kicks it, and then Militao kind of hits an auto goal. 1-0 was the final. That one auto goal was everything that Barcelona needed to win the game. Just a weird game all around. But Eddie, how did you see it?
Ah man, Madrid didn't stick to their game plan because if you're watching the game, they're just long balling and long balls, and that's not their game. That's not their game plan. Surely Ancelotti didn't send them out and said, "Hey, this is the way we're gonna play." And you sensed a little bit of frustration from players like Benzema, from Modric, from Valverde, and even Carvajal.
Even
It's
Ancelotti
unfortunate.
himself.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate the way they conceded the goal because it's a tight call, could have gone either way. But Courtois makes a good stop, and it's just unfortunate that it hits Militao, and Nacho couldn't react to it on time and kick it out. Um, if you're a Real Madrid fan, I think you're disappointed with the performance, but you go into the next game thinking that hey, we can score 3 goals on them easily. I think the best chance they had was a Rodrigo long shot.
Yeah.
Besides, Benzema being offsides, but again, it was a weird game because at times, you didn't see that silky fluid football. You saw, like I said, a lot of long balls,
A lot of scrambling around.
a lot of scrambling around, like you mentioned. We did expect more from the game, and unfortunately, it didn't deliver.
JC, speaking of what he said, the Benzema offsides, it feels like at the beginning, Madrid were on. They were moving the ball well. They were passing it. They were doing everything they needed to. And Benzema hits a goal. Obviously, they call it offsides. But I feel like that kind of took the wind out of their sails a little bit. Can you talk about how much of a momentum killer that kind of is when you are flowing at the beginning, you hit that goal, and then obviously it's called offsides, and the other team goes up and they end up scoring?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely that's every team's dream start, right? Score a goal within the first 20, 25 minutes, establish yourself as the head team as soon as you can. But it's just weird. I don't know. The Madrid kind of it might be the age factor, fatigue, too many games. I don't know what it is, but like you guys said, it's moments. They have moments or these lapses where they go extended periods of time where they're just kind of, you know, playing without a purpose. Sometimes I guess you could say, like then they try to turn it back on and then flip the switch and then here we go. Let's bang out two, three, four goals like they did versus Liverpool. And this game gave me a lot of that same Liverpool game vibes where Barca would go out in front and then Madrid's just kind of hanging out there trying to find their spots. And then when it comes time to go, it's there. But the momentum killers are definitely there. Multiple of them, not just that offsides, but that offsides on that goal from Barcelona could have gone either way because Kessia's shoulder looks to be offsides. If you line them up, Premier League style, it looks like an offsides to me. You can take a little screenshot there, zoom in, but there's a lot of momentum killers. It wasn't just that Benzema one. You ideally always want an early goal like that just to start controlling and managing the game. But when it's two legs, you can't hang your head too much on an offsides that doesn't go your way early. Got to push through, especially when you're playing at home in front of that home crowd. You really got to leverage and use that to the best of your advantage.
Eddie, what did you think about the refereeing? Questionable yellow card on Vinicius to start the game. I mean, it was only like 23 minutes in, and he gets a yellow for. I thought it was a good play by him and Frankie. Frankie, both him and him both go for the ball. They wrestle. They fall to the ground. In the Premier League, we all know that's not a card at all. That's just good play by both of them being aggressive. Here, they pull out a yellow card, and then the ref kept on yelling at Vinicius to kind of relax, and then obviously, but and then there was just some weird, like Gabi tackling. He tackled Militao. He tackled
The handball in the
Camavinga.
box.
Yeah, exactly. So the no call on Rudiger, it felt like, I mean, and I don't know if you guys heard, but Barcelona or Real Madrid fans were throwing fake money at the president of Barcelona for the whole buying
Somebody call
referees
Iker.
and stuff. So yeah,
Somebody call Iker.
exactly. But Eddie, what did you think about the refereeing?
I mean, you hate to make it about the referee and have the referee do questionable calls and ultimately maybe decide a tie. But in this case, I don't think that was necessarily the case. Was it poor? Was it bad? Of course, it was bad. But I think Real Madrid did this to themselves for not performing the way they should, and a lot of people expected. The referee didn't have that type of influence that maybe we saw from other Spanish refs in, let's say, the World Cup. I'm not going to mention names, but there's a certain Argentina Netherlands game where something could have happened where a certain player could have been sent off and changed the tide of history and changed the course of the World Cup. So again, it wasn't that type of situation, but definitely any game you don't want to see the referee be the protagonist of the game because people are not paying to watch the referee make these horrible decisions. They're there to watch players like Benzema, a player like Courtois, Modric, Ter Stegen, Frankie De Jong, and we're not here to see the referee. And if the referee can't handle the pressure, then that's on La Liga and the referee association there to get referees that can handle the pressure and they're not afraid, to ref a game like this. On the other hand, I think if you're a referee, you're trying to get control of the game. So what's the best way of you to get the control of the game is, you're calling any foul, you're maybe giving someone a verbal warning and then saying next foul, you're getting a card. And I think that's what he did the first foul. But again, it wasn't like the referee was a protagonist of the game. I don't think we want to go there and say that. I think, Real
Oh
Madrid
no.
just didn't show up. And on to the second tie.
JC, does it sometimes feel, and I mean, I'm going to ask both of you guys this question, but does it sometimes feel like Madrid is like basically like, oh, La Liga, whatever, other tournaments, whatever, and it's like just the because that Champions League game, I mean, they really erupted against Liverpool, and it feels like ever since that game, it's just been they kind of been like coasting a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they started off that game pretty bad too. They got punched in the nose early, that Darwin Nunez goal, and you never really anticipate a back heel flick in the box like that. But to get put in that position, I just feel like Camavinga playing defensive mid, he's not really there yet. And the pressure I feel like got to him on that cheap pass back, and they're lapses. I think, yeah, they definitely don't really care too much about winning La Liga, but I think they should. I mean, that's another treble in their trophy case and another big, badge of honor for Ancelotti. So they are very just Champions League only second leg kind of guys where they kind of just coast it. I really feel like at sometimes they take it a little bit too much for granted, the quality that they have on their side and their ability to turn it on. Because then you'll have a day like today where you turn it on and nothing really falls your way. And now you're down 1-0 and you're really looking at each other like, dang, like we really dropped the ball on this one, guys. Let's not do it again. But they keep doing it. So I don't know if they're just using La Liga to rotate players or what the set game plan is for Ancelotti, but these are cup games. And when you're Madrid, you're in the cup, and you're expected to win, and it doesn't matter the cup. It could be the Audi Cup or whatever the heck you want. Shout out Spurs, right? But it could be the Audi Cup, but it doesn't matter. If you're Madrid, you're in a cup game, you're expected to win. And these kind of 1-0 losses, yeah, you don't really kind of hang your head on them because second leg's coming. But you're playing in Camp Nou, and it's not going to be the most favorable of settings for you. You're already seeing your team get roughed up. You got to wake up and go out there and punch somebody in the mouth first.
Look, real
Anyway,
quick, I don't think Madrid are invited to the Audi Cup because then Spurs can't win the trophy, even though
Yeah,
Madrid
right.
are sponsored by Audi. I think. Just
Big
a
time.
quick shout out there. But yeah, no, JC, JC hit it right on the money. And that's probably one of the faults that, I know you have, Fernando, about Ancelotti, that, his squad rotation sometimes isn't there. And sometimes he's playing the same team day in and day out. And, these guys are no longer, 30, 29, 28 years old. They're a little older. So
Crispy.
could that have played a factor in it? Possibly. Vinicius didn't look like Vinicius, and that's saying something because the kid's 20 years old, right? Should be running, amok every day. So if you're a Real Madrid fan, it's not time to panic. It's not time to say fuera Ancelotti, like I've heard out there a couple of times. But
Weird.
it's definitely concerning that you lost at home to Barcelona. Obviously, you never want that to happen. Clásicos
Especially in
are
the
always there to be
semifinal.
won. And more so just, the period that Barcelona are going through. Like, you're clearly the superior team. So, I don't know if Ancelotti's just going to figure something out for the next tie, but something has to happen where Barcelona don't win.
see what I thought was weird was they weren't attacking the right side, Madrid. It was everything they were trying to go through the left. And I understand it, but if that's where Conde were, that's where Araujo was. Like when they put in Rodrigo, I thought, okay, they're gonna start attacking through. That's where they were going through. Like Carvajal was able to get through numerous times. He just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net because obviously he's a right back, but like there was a moment where he had a chance, like the ball fell right into his foot and he like shot it up into the sky, and you're kind of like, okay, dude, like you got to put it down and try and score that way. But what I meant is, as soon as Rodrigo went in, Rodrigo just positioned himself right next to Modric and right between him and Vinicius, and it's like, why are you so fascinated with that left side? Throw Rodrigo over to the right, let him create on the right, and maybe he could get in and do a little bit more. I thought that's where they kind of failed as well, but I don't blame today on coaching. I blame it more on the players. It felt like they just weren't in it. They it didn't have that classical feel to it. To me, it was just kind of like the players were lackadaisical. It just didn't feel like they were really responsive to it. And I've seen them be responsive. Like you guys said, that Liverpool game, they were responsive right away. Boom. Okay, hey, we're down 2-0. Let's get back. It feels like Liverpool's the damn team that they have a huge rivalry with, because like right there, like you see Ben turns and goes, hey, no, come on, let's turn it up. What are we doing? And they turn it up. Now, JC kind of hit the point there a little bit, and you kind of did too, the age part. I don't know if Tony Kroos and Modric should be on the field at the same time, especially with all these young kids out there. Like I might have gone Federico Valverde, Tony Kroos, Camavinga at the midfield, and Rodrigo at right wing, just to really take it to Barcelona. But I mean,
You're still
obviously,
missing another midfielder. You're missing too many, So
Yeah,
no. Well, you have
you,
three
you
right there.
big miss.
You have
No,
Camavinga.
but
You
that's
have
a
he's
big
not
miss,
playing.
though. I
No,
mean,
he's not
too
playing.
many played
no.
every single game for France at the World Cup and didn't look out
Every
of
game.
place. That's a big
Yeah.
game player right there.
No,
But
I
the
know,
other
but I
thing
mean,
too,
he didn't start either. They just brought him in towards the end of the game. I kind of was hoping he would rip one from deep to scare, because that's another thing too. Yeah, Madrid had the ball for most of the game, but Ter Stegen was barely even challenged. I mean, everything was just Vinicius would bring it through the left side, kick it in,
Maybe it's
and
just a lack of respect on the part of the Madrid players,
yeah,
definitely,
because
definitely.
if we're honest,
the
like you
three
look at this
missing
Barcelona
players.
team,
A lot of
Yeah,
like
arrogance.
they're missing their biggest star, which is Lewandowski. So you're
exactly.
like, oh, okay, what are they gonna
Dembele's
do?
out
Who's
for
gonna
them.
score on us? Ferran Torres? I don't think
Yeah,
so. Dembele's out. Rafinha has been in and out of form.
your
So
boy.
who's really going to step up? And it came from an unlikely source in Kessie. But again, I
And
just
that's
think
usually how it happens.
it's just I think it's just like a lack of respect for this team. Like, it's
But
just
then,
Barcelona. Like,
but
don't
and
worry about it.
here's the crazy part. You play Betis this weekend. Then I think
Mm-hmm.
you play via. No, I can't remember who they play. Some whatever team after that.
Wait,
But
no,
then they
I
have
thought I played Espanyol first and then Betis.
no. It's Betis this weekend. Then
Okay,
Espanyol that next
and then
weekend. You're right.
Liverpool.
Then Liverpool, and then they play
Mm,
at Barcelona. They're gonna
yeah,
give it their all for that Liverpool game, and I don't even know if they're gonna be ready for that, because that Barcelona game is for La Liga. But that's
mm-hmm.
at the Camp Nou. Then the
Yeah.
second leg is at the Camp Nou. So you're gonna go to
Mm-hmm.
the Camp Nou twice. And if in these next 2 games they don't get, and this is what I think is going to end up happening. If in these next 2 games, Madrid if they get 2 victories and Barcelona lose 1, then I think Madrid will go hard in that game. But I think if they lose 1 or they tie 1 and Barcelona wins both of them, I think Madrid's going to throw in the towel on La Liga and they're just going to go hard on champions and try and win champions. But I honestly do not like if and I could see them going hard in that second leg, but I think if they thrash Liverpool again, I just think they're gonna say, you know what, F it, throw in the towel for everything else. Let's just go get another Champions League trophy and put number 15 up there because I just don't see them caring. And I sometimes I just feel like they just don't care enough about the other trophies. I don't know what it is about them, but it's like Champions League, like
I mean, I
they're
guess
dogs.
they have the most La Ligas ever,
Yeah.
right?
But it's like they
So
foam at the mouth for that Champions League trophy, and for everything else, they're kind of like,
I
oh,
don't
okay,
think
well,
Barcelona being your closest rival to La Liga, you don't want them to win it, obviously.
exactly.
So like you need
And
to.
you don't want it to win it beating you, which is
Yeah,
the worst
Yeah.
part.
exactly.
They won it
Exactly.
because they beat you, and that's what this game is. I feel like this next game versus Betis is going to have to be an experimental lineup kind of game for Ancelotti, where he's going to have to play guys
They
like
need
a
to start putting
Camavinga at left back. He's going to play He's got to play Camavinga at left back because you got to start producing, and that's really what's missing in this Madrid team is you don't have those left and right backs that are pushing up. Because if you're looking for Carvajal to do it for you, yeah, he used to be an engine. He maybe didn't give you that final pass, but his presence is there and it's overlapping and it's giving you that attack on the right side that you yourself were asking for and that you're missing because it's the same reason. He would he would start a lot of those attacks down the
I
right
think
just
they
by like
relied too much on
charging and
Valverde
run.
today, where
Yeah.
Valverde
And that's
wanted him
why,
to play right wing, right
but that's why
mid,
they
and then
put him
right
there
back.
because,
Where
but that's why they put him there because the
and
consistent
usually he can do
push
that, right? And he's
and he
effective.
you
But
see, and that's really what they were looking for. And there's a nonstop presence on the right side, push them, push them, push them. And then they were trying to do what United was doing, where they're just pressing them back with your right winger so far up and your left winger so far up that you're forcing them to not attack you.
But that was
But
another
it didn't work
reason
out
why I said, why didn't you use Rodrigo on the right? Like as soon as
because Valverde's worked for you like every single time. This is probably the first time Valverde at right wing has not worked for Ancelotti.
no,
Like
no, yeah, I know,
realistically speaking.
but you know what I was saying is that like
mm,
with what they had just done, Manchester United, what they started doing was they attacked that. That's why they got back into that game and they won is because they kept
But
on
also
attacking through that
remember,
right side.
there
But
were
you're
the
right.
subs.
But you're
We made
right
two
that
subs on the right side. We
The
subbed out
Valverde
Wan-Bissaka,
on the
we
right
subbed out
wing has won them
Anthony,
Champions Leagues.
and that's what it is. But because he has Carvajal doing the overlap, so now it's three guys
Yeah,
overloading the right side, and you're creating one-on-one matchups on the other side, and that's where Benzi's just playing cones. He's just going around in cones and then dumping it off 1-2s with Vinny there. But
yeah,
you
I
know,
mean the
I
link
really
up play
believe.
wasn't there today.
I
it
think
wasn't.
Just
you
wasn't.
got to next game. Camavinga's got to play left back. You got to play Tuchmeni to see where his fitness is at. He's got to play Liverpool also, and you got to just manage that game. Yeah, you could afford to lose like a 1-0, I guess, whatever, right? But as long as you're experimenting and rotating your players, because you have a nice lead to really go out there and play a respectable game and just manage the result. And the most important thing right now for them are these next 2 games with Barcelona. Because the Liverpool match, I don't think you need to break your head too much about it. As long as you get a
I
good
think
squad
one goal.
rotation
If
in
they
there,
score one goal, they put it to bed. I think.
it
I don't think
easy.
Liverpool
If
have
they
it.
go out there in the first 20 minutes and
Yeah.
attack and score that
The
goal, it's gonna be wreck. You know,
the other
it's gonna
thing
be
too,
hell.
when they beat Barcelona earlier in this year in Madrid, that 3-1 game, Tchouaméni was on the field and Tchouaméni was like he was putting guys in body bags. Like the dude was literally all over the field and
And that's what I was gonna say. Keep it a buck. They were missing their enforcer.
yeah,
Camavinga, defensive mid, is not your enforcer. He's a little more finesse. You know, he could be your number
yeah.
two when it comes down to it. But you need a big dude. Hey, Casemiro would have made a big difference today, wouldn't he? But you know, glad he's wearing red these days. But definitely,
Well, I mean,
no,
with
but
the
for sure,
addition,
Valverde playing defensive mid would have changed the whole game. Just that alone, you could have, you know, seen a
yeah.
complete different midfield. You wouldn't seen Frankie De Jong being so aggressive, trying to rattle it out with everybody because Valverde's right there. Just you know, he's there to enforce. He's there always. Just his presence alone changes games.
Somebody
He's got
asked me
to
that,
hold.
or somebody asked me the Casemiro thing, and I was like, no, I thought it was his time to go. I knew he wanted something different. He wanted to go try something different. It was just that like you either have to play Tchouaméni or Federico Valverde at center
You need a
defensive
real
mid.
enforcer.
You can't. Hell, even Tony Kroos isn't a bad center defensive mid, but obviously he's more of a hey, bring him up, let him do
Yeah.
different things up there. But but the game got faster as soon as they took out both him and Kroos. The game got a lot faster. But the thing is that Nacho had a good game against Liverpool. Here, he did not have a good like. He just like Rafinha for some reason was getting through him, and Nacho just couldn't keep up with him. But it was just a bad game overall. But I really do think that. I mean, I'm just being honest. I really do think that this is the last season where they can risk not bringing in another Galactico. They need to bring in a Kylian Mbappe. They need something like that. They need something consistent, and I just feel like they haven't had consistency this whole year. They've been up and down. It's been a
cool to go for a splash signing, but like you really need to go for another center back. You need a right back, and you need.
Well, no, they definitely need a right back.
You know, I don't think you necessarily put all your, your eggs in one basket and say, you know what, we're just gonna get a big superstar like an Mbappe and call it a day. Like, no, there's a lot of things you're gonna have to plug in for this Madrid team to keep, firing the way they've been firing these last couple of years. And you have to consider this thing too. You're gonna get a new coach at the end of the season. I really believe Ancelotti's done. He's leaving, and he's gonna go, coach a national team. I don't think he stays. So
I don't think
another thing you have to worry about. So,
hey, man, Tommy T got you, bro. Don't worry.
I'm trying to tell you. I locked that in a long time ago. Thomas Tuchel to Real Madrid.
That's a given. Yeah, because Chelsea's not going to go back on their word and rehire him. He's responsible for all of their points right now.
I don't think he'll go back to PSG the way they disrespected him. So
never. No, not at all.
Time to bring back for the third time Zizou. Bring him back and see what.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think you'll like it. There's a rumor going around that Zizou might take over that Chelsea job.
Hey, I saw that, but it's BS. He has to coach. He's not going to do it.
There you go.
He has to coach.
No. Well, I mean, no. I understand. Like to me, Carvajal is obviously
he did a service. He's done the service.
Yeah, he's done everything he's needed to do. I think it's done with him. But did you see him drawing at Xavi at the end of the game?
Of course he is.
He is. How about playing?
That's just the game within the game.
CDM.
Well, that boy's broken. Every time he plays, he's like 5 minutes on the pitch. He breaks it.
That's another option you have moving forward when he is healthy. I think he's did a great job at Bayern when he's playing a CDM.
They need a left back and they need a right back. Like they need to go.
You have a left back.
I think it's unfortunate that Mendy hasn't panned out the way that you thought he was going to pan out because I thought he was a really good left back.
Should have kept Hakimi.
Yeah, so obviously they're going to need that fool gets freaking gashed. Anytime he plays Vinicius tears him up a new one.
Everyone's got one player. Come on, man.
So I honestly think right back, left back, center back. They need to mold somebody new because obviously Rudiger's up there. He's 30 or 31. So you're gonna end Alaba's 31.
Hey, look, I'm gonna throw something at you. I don't know how you feel about this. Let's say hypothetically, Napoli win the league.
If you mention listen to me, I swear to God.
Let's say Napoli make a deep run in Champions League.
No, I don't want
to go out of your way to get a Di Lorenzo to be your new right back.
I don't think he leaves, bro. He's the captain.
I mean,
I don't think he leaves. You would want a guy like that, but he's not leaving.
If the dude can ball, I'm down. They need it. They need a right back. They need a left back.
He can ball.
I know he can ball. That's why I'm saying, the dude can pass it into the box. He can do a lot of different things.
You've seen the goal, man.
But another reason why I'm telling you the whole Galactico thing is because remember the stadium opens in August, so Papa Perez needs to present something big. For them to open up that
Bellingham is on the way. I get it. I know what you're alluding to right now. Right?
No, I don't know about that.
You're begging for.
I don't think they're going to pay the 100. I don't think they'll pay 150 million for him.
Hey, he's worth every penny. I think.
Oh, I think so. And you know what I think is going to end up.
If they paid 130 for Enzo, what's another 20 million?
I think what's going to end up happening. I think Toni Kroos and Modric, if they win Champions League, I think they both retire this year. And they say, "Hey, we want to go out together."
Luka's
this has been an
Luka's coming back.
No, I don't think. I think if they win Champions League, I think they leave. I think
Luka's still at a high level to be retiring.
But I feel like they've kind of like.
I think Toni Kroos is kind of over it already, but
I think
Luka Modric. I think Luka Modric is still hungry for it.
He's there. That guy is.
Well, whatever. But winner. If you present Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe to the freaking crowd. Then boom, you have your boom.
If you bring Modric, Jude Bellingham, you think he's gonna leave? know what he could do with that man next to him?
Ooh,
Jesus. And then Valverde. I mean, you might lose Valverde. I don't
I'm
know.
not gonna lose Valverde.
There's a
Valverde
team
will
in
Put
start.
England.
Valverde at CDM and next to Luca and Jude. That's
There's a
crazy.
Yeah.
team. There's a team in England that's willing to spend big bucks for a guy as Valverde's
Nah. We're good.
services.
Speaking of
Man,
new
you pay
teams,
more for less.
we're good.
Let me call Diego Forlan real quick to make that call for
Yeah,
us real quick.
Speaking of
Hierro.
making call ups, Diego Cocca, the man, Mexico's newest manager, he made some call
Watch
ups.
out, man.
Obviously, here is the list of the call ups that he made. Obviously, some of the guys that are not included, some of the World Cup players that are not included: Alfredo Talavera, Rodolfo Cota, Andres Guardado, Alexis Vega because he's injured, Rogelio Funes Mori, and Hector Herrera. So obviously, and some of the guys who can make, obviously, Cesar Hernandez here has players
Roberto de la Rosa.
who can make their debut is Club Tijuana's Jose Antonio Rodriguez, Pachuca Roberto de la Rosa, and Toluca's Marcel Ruiz. And then obviously he left the door open for Alejandro Sendejas. By the way, did you guys see that video of El Piojo at Tijuana or no? Like that first
Honestly, I
game?
think that's an old video. I'm gonna
Oh,
be
is
honest
it?
with
Yeah,
you.
oh,
I
that's an
think
old
it's an
video.
old video,
Okay.
Yeah, he was a
his
visitor.
first time around there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was
Okay.
visiting.
Because
Yeah,
if they're still talking about Martinoli, like it's
yeah,
it's
yeah. It's
that's
older,
kind of
man,
old.
for sure.
Okay. Well,
No, but
just
it
want
could very well happen. Don't let it.
JC, your thoughts on this 34 man CONCACAF roster, Nation League roster for Mexico?
Where do I start? Let me see here. No, I mean honestly, I really like the variation. You're seeing some different teams out there. Finally, you're seeing Tijuana players getting pulled in. You're seeing Pachuca players getting brought in. Like Roberto de la Rosa was having a pretty good streak offensively when he was playing not that long. What last season when they were just kind of crushing everybody and anybody. Who else do we have here? Well, there was one other guy that jumped out at me that I was surprised they called him up. Israel Reyes from America. That was something that really caught me off guard. I wouldn't really, but again, at the same time, like I told you guys in the group chat, like this is perfect in one scenario. I didn't get to elaborate, but this is perfect in one scenario because you're calling all eligible players and you're going to put them all in a training camp, and you're going to be able to see who or you would hope, right, that the process is that you're going to see, and you're going to be able to narrow this down to, you go cut 11 players out of here, have a 22, 23 man roster that you can, cycle through and make changes with. I'm glad to not see Hector Herrero in this lineup anymore. You can always kind of use a guy's presence like a Guardado, I guess, but you don't really want them seeing the pitch anymore. You got to start moving on and refreshing these center backs for me though, because Nestor Araujo is a tronco, big old tree trunk, and Johan looks like to be on his way over there. They're trying real hard over in Italy, but I just don't see him panning out over there. Could he be a good player? Yeah, and when it comes down to playing for the national team, I've always said it time and time again. It comes down to effort, but it's good to see the variety of players, man. The only one is he here? Dude from Chivas, what's his name? It's scoring. It's Justin all these goals.
By the way, I thought it was
Where'd he
interesting.
go?
No
Where'd he go?
Hector
Pocho.
Moreno.
Is Pocho out here? Pocho
I don't see
Guzman.
him.
Yeah, Guzman still freaking
Before,
blacklisted. So that's the funny thing about that guy. So apparently he's blacklisted from getting called up to these teams. So
why?
there's a secret. Apparently there's like a secret society right between these owners. Same reason how this guy Cocca came about. How Ecuador Gomez was breaking it down. I don't know how it was, but he had some kind of breakdown or something a couple years back, right before he signed for Chivas or was gonna sign for Chivas when Peláez got over there. And long story short, he ended up, pissing off the wrong people, and he just got blacklisted from getting called up to the national teams. And till this day, he's playing lights out. They called up, a lot of these new guys that really aren't doing that great now, but did very well in the past. But this guy's really proved himself as a very important piece for teams, and especially for Pachuca winning the chip. He was basically their captain, and he's just running the show for Chivas. But that's really the big question mark there is why. But to be honest, that news is whispers, but apparently he's blacklisted, and it's interesting. This is almost proven that little theory there.
To me, I mean, real quick before I go to Eddie, I kind of want to see what Santiago Jimenez has to do because I remember. I think he's the guy
Score.
that
That's all he
he was
does.
the one that was playing well
Right.
in the Europa Cup, right? And or Euro League and or Europa Cup, and
Yeah,
they
he
tried
ended
to,
up as the top goal scorer actually in the
and
group phase for in the Europa League.
they didn't take him to the World Cup, and everybody was kind of pissing on
Funes Mori didn't play 1 minute, did he?
yeah, exactly. The one I don't understand ever is Raul Jimenez. What has he done to deserve to
Oh
be
my
called
god.
up? What did he do in the World Cup?
Oh my god, bro. Don't start.
If you want to talk about,
That's just you having a great agent and great connections within the
he wears
Mexican
the captain
Federation,
bat
where
at
you're getting
Tronco FC.
these these calls.
I don't know, champ. I don't know.
Raul Jimenez before he hit his dome, I understand. Like the dude was great, but ever since then he hasn't done anything. Well, whatever. Eddie, what do you think about
What is it?
the
Still like 20 of the 26 players that went to the World Cup are still involved in the
yeah,
Mexican Federation or the selección.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
your guys'
Santi
boy Edson
Jimenez
Alvarez is
was
there.
probably the biggest no-brainer that any
Your
manager,
boy
unless you're Tata
Edson.
Martino, would call up. The guy's on fire. The guy's scoring
Which
goals at
one? Sorry, I didn't hear.
will. Santi Jimenez,
Oh,
you know. So I'm happy to see that. The kid definitely deserved to go to the World Cup. I think he offered you a lot more than a Henry Martin, Funes Mori, who still can't find form. Um, Other than that, I mean, I don't really like that he left it open for Zendejas to choose whether he wants to represent the U.S. or Mexico. I think the kids he's not even a kid anymore. I think he's like 24, 25. Your mind should already be made up. Are you representing the U.S. or are you representing Mexico? You don't need to cater to players like this because one, he doesn't have that level or that talent per se that you're gonna go out of your way to cater to him. I think the only player that the selección has ever catered to was Carlos Vela, and rightfully so. I think Carlos Vela makes any team better,
Go.
and I wasn't opposed to that. But us Sendejas, like, what does he offer you that Antuna is not going to offer you? I mean, quite
Oh,
frankly,
your boy?
I don't rate Antuna, but I'm just saying,
That's your
like,
boy.
what is he
Stop.
going to offer you that he doesn't offer you,
He's
or
a
an
fan.
Alexis Vega? Like,
He's a
so
fan.
that doesn't make sense to me. I
He's a
think
fan.
I think you ask him once, and if he says no or he's unsure, then hey, you don't leave the door open anymore. You move on. Um,
You
but
think him,
again,
him or Guzman? Who's better? Who do you
Guzman,
rate? Oh,
Guzman, Guzman,
and my boy get a call
easily.
up. He's
But
got Chivas in third
that's the
place.
thing. Like you're not rotating the squad. Like you still have these troncos, like you mentioned, these tree stumps just in the back
like
of the
Raul Jimenez.
defense. You're still calling Ochoa,
Edson.
which I get it. He's playing in Serie A right now, but like, dude, it's time to get the new generation of goalkeepers in. Like, how long did it take for Talavera to get a shot at the number one spot? How long did it take for these other goalkeepers to get a shot at the number one spot? So I think it's
Well,
time to move on from Ochoa.
it's literally been like Ochoa took over for what's his
Osvaldo.
name? Who?
I think Osvaldo.
Osvaldo.
He
The guy
took
from
over
Yeah.
Osvaldo or
Osvaldo, yeah.
Conejo Perez. One of those two.
Well, Conejo Perez for some god awful reason
Well, it
was
was
the
an outlier,
goalkeeper
I guess, because he was,
in the
Because
2010 World Cup,
Aguirre,
and
because
he
Aguirre
did
that's
kept
his boy.
calling him
terrible.
out.
Well, remember Osvaldo's dad had passed away, and they were like, "Hey, you can either go home or come to the World Cup." And he's like, "Oh, I think my dad would want me there at home with him." I'm like, "For what? He already." Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna be insensitive, but it's like, it's like, dude, why
cut
wouldn't
that.
you? No. Like, why wouldn't you go dedicate your World Cup aspirations for your dad? Like, and El Conejo just did. I remember against Argentina, El Conejo was terrible. He gave the ball right to, I can't remember who he gave the, like, just threw the ball right at him, and the dude just shoot. I
The
think it was
opening goal of the
Messi.
World Cup, you can't fault him. It was a great strike by Shabalaba.
No,
So,
I didn't mean that one. Oh, and then JC's boy
guy's
Rafa Marquez
goal.
ties things up 1-1.
Oh yeah.
And then he blows it. And then he blows it right after, like, oh,
Yeah. But obviously,
typical.
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're right. It's been a long time of Ochoa, and it's time to start putting that new goalkeeper in. But the thing is, the whole San
Look,
Ochoa and all this stuff that he's done,
you're taking
the
these
legend's going to
players that just
continue
lost the
powering him
Nations
through.
League, lost the Gold Cup,
Taking
made the
losers.
U.S.
You're taking losers.
They looked inferior to the U.S. for the majority of the last 2 years. It's time to get new players, fresh faces in, rejuvenate the squad, and start your own project. Stop going off of other people's projects and building off old players that are no longer key and
What
integral to the selección. Like Hector Herrera,
When you
thank
guys
God
look
he's
at this
not there.
squad,
Guardado,
when you
thank
guys look
God
at
he's
this
not
squad,
there.
what place do you think they get in the Gold Cup?
I don't even want to think about that.
With this squad,
Yeah.
third place.
USA is winning that.
I got the US on that. Yeah, I think the USA is the team to beat.
That midfield's
That's
crazy.
crazy. You guys got anything else before we head out?
I just want to give a shout out to our listeners and our viewers here. I know it's hard to listen to JC's takes here and there, but hang
Somebody's
in there.
got to say the truth.
Maybe one day he'll start getting some sense in and start making some valid points.
Hey, I watched the game again. I still didn't see Rashford. Still looking for that guy.
Hey, did you guys see that or no?
See which one? Let me see here. Oh. Uh-oh. It's that time. Man's dressed in black. Look at him. He's ready to go.
What time is it? What time is it, boys?
No. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
it's time.
It's
time. It's somebody's bedtime.
Lieutenant Gordon, thank you for sending it out.
He said Lieutenant Gordon. Oh my God.
God. Again, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for checking out another episode of Compas FC. We will be back next week. Again, don't forget to check out everything on the Compas on the Beat Network. House of Horns, Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner most likely gone. How are the Rams going to recover from that? Is Robert Woods on his way back to LA? Those questions are answered by Gilbert and Victor Producer. Dan Dago and I break down on what's up, Bolts. Keenan Allen is not going anywhere, according to Tom Telesco. What does that mean for the future of this team? And obviously, Justin Herbert can't afford to lose any weapons. So obviously, that's a no-brainer for the Chargers. And then on regular Compas on the Beat, don't forget to check out everything that we talk about. Lamar Jackson, where is he headed? Is he going? Is he staying? What's up with the Eagles and all their free agents? And then obviously the talk this week from the Combine. In my opinion, it's all about the tight ends. This is one of the best tight end groups I've seen in years. I was at Notre Dame. I saw Michael Mayer play. The dude is half Gronk, half Travis Kelce. This kid's going to be a superstar. Gilbert's opinion is the quarterback's Bryce Young. Is he really the number one overall pick with his size, his weight? And like I said, if he needs to gain weight, he can come down here and hang out with me, JC, Eddie, Dan and Dago, Sosa. We'll get him up to playing weight. Don't you worry about that. But we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode. We will be back next week. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, be a compa, tell a compa. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.